welcome to week 4 of this round 3 of distance learning. I hope this video finds you all super well, and I hope that you guys aren't getting spring fever too bad. I know I am. That warm weather out there, whoo-wee, makes me just want to go outside, doesn't it? Instead of doing this schoolwork. So y'all hang in there this week and next week, and we will be done with school, and you guys will be 5th graders. So anyway, let me tell you what you're going to be learning this week. This week we're going to be doing a review of multiplying whole numbers by fractions. Now we had covered this standard before all of this happened, so it's not anything brand new, but it was something that was flagged on our benchmark that we took that the majority of 4th grade needed to work on. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Thank you for tuning in.
I was running 8 miles away. I had already run 3/4 of the way to find how far I'd traveled from my front door. I did 8 times 3 and got 24. Then I divided by 4 and I got 6. 6 miles I'd run in my brand new kicks. Multiplying whole numbers by fractions is awesome, yeah. When there's a similar problem, we'll not have forgotten.
Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom.
I was riding to the video game shop. I had ridden 5, 6, 12 city blocks. How far I'd gone is what I wanted to find. 12 times 5 is what I multiplied. I got 60 and then divided by 6. I had ridden 10 blocks and did a cool bike trick. Multiplying whole numbers by fractions is awesome, yeah. When there's a similar problem, we'll not have forgotten.
Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom.
A girl used repeated addition to see if she could use the strategy to solve a half times 3. She thought fast and then it came like a flash that a half plus a half plus a half is 3 halves. She converted 3 halves to 1 and a half. She had a crush that would last. It was a crush on math. Multiplying whole numbers by fractions is awesome, yeah. When there's a similar problem, we'll not have forgotten.
Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom.
Alright guys, so one thing that was not addressed in the video we saw was what I tell you in class whenever we're multiplying a fraction times a whole number. And that, what I teach you, is just to help you remember that when we multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. So in the problems we're going to do today, we're going to practice putting our whole number over 1. So we'll take our whole number 2, put it over 1, so we're making it a fraction. 2 over 1, which is still equal to 2 wholes. We didn't change the value of the number, but we did make it a fraction so that whenever we multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator, it flows better for us. Alright, so I'm going to think 2 times what will give me 4? Okay, 2 times 2 will give me 4. And this is why it's so important that we put our whole number over 1 so that we can do denominator times denominator equals 6. So 1 times what will give us 6? 6. Okay, so our 2 wholes times 2 6 gives us 4 6, because numerator times numerator is 4, and denominator times denominator is 6. So the answer there is 2 6. An equation is shown. What is the missing number? So we'll do the same thing that we did in the previous problem. We take our whole number 12, put it over 1, because that's just saying 11 divided by 1 It's still 11, so we're not changing the value of the number. This just helps us out so that whenever we're filling in what are we multiplying across here to get these numbers, it's just helping our brains to remember we do numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. So 11 times what equals 44? 4. Okay. And then 1 times what equals 12? 12. So whenever you type this in, whenever you have problems like this and you're typing them in to the answer sheet, you can do 4 and then this little /12. Okay. All right, so now here we're looking at a number line. It says use the number line to help you solve the equation. All right, so on this number line, we're going to skip 6/8 5 times. So we're going to start here with 0, okay? And then whenever we go up 1, that will be 6/8, okay? And then remember, whenever we're adding fractions, we only add numerator. We don't add the denominator. So this would be 6/8 plus 6/8. So we're doing 6 plus 6. And that gives us 12/8. That's times 2. And here's times 3. So 12/8 plus 6/8 equals 6 plus 12. I'm going to come down here and do it. It's going to be 18/8. And then do it again to 4. So 18/8 plus 6/8. 6 plus 18 is 24/8. And for the last time, 24/8 plus 6/8 will give us 30/8. And there's our answer. So we can double check that with what we learned earlier in the video and on problems 1 and 2. If we rewrite it, 5 times 6/8. Remember, we need to put our 5 wholes over 1 so that we have a denominator there that we're working with. Okay, and then we're going to multiply numerator times numerator. So 5 times 6 is 30. And then denominator times denominator. So 1 times 8 is 8. And we see that we got the same answer. Either way we did that, either on the number line or by just using multiplication. It says, look at the tape diagram below. Select the equations that represent the tape diagram. So one thing that we want to pay very close attention to is that this word equations is plural. We have an S on it. So that's a hint telling us that it's going to be more than one option. Okay, so let's read it again because remember we always want to read it 3 times to make sure we really understand. Look at the tape diagram below. Select the equations that represent the tape diagram. All right, so we have 4/5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So before I look at those answer choices, I'm just going to cover them up. That way I'm not tempted to look at them. What I like to do is I like to come up with different equations myself before I look at the possible choices. And then it kind of makes it easier because I can check off the ones that match mine. And then I can just go through the ones that don't match mine and decide if they match the problem or not. All right, so we said we had 4/5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So think of a multiplication problem. What multiplication problem could we create that would represent this tape diagram? You go ahead and write one down. Okay. I hope you said 5 times 4/5. Okay, that was the one I was thinking because we have 4/5 5 times. All right, another equation would just be repeated addition. So we could do 4/5 plus 4/5 plus 4/5 plus 4/5 plus 4/5. Okay, 5 times. All right, those are the 2 obvious ones that we've kind of looked at already today. So let's go ahead and uncover and see what we have here. All right, so looking at the first one, we see that they used a repeated addition like we did here, but they only did it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And it was 5. How many times we had it? So we got to mark that one out. That couldn't be it. All right, the next one has 5 times 4/5, which is the same one we created, so that one could be 1. So I'll put a check there. And then we have 4/5 times 1/5. Well, this one doesn't work because we're not multiplying times a fraction, we're multiplying times a whole number. So we couldn't do that one. Okay. This one has 4/5 plus 5. Well, we're not adding 5. We're either multiplying or using repeated addition of 4/5, so that one doesn't work. And then here we see that we're using repeated addition like we did here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, which is the same thing we have here. So I'll check that one. All right, so we got them all. We got all of them whenever we just went ahead and solved it the way we knew how. We ended up having the answers. So y'all try that whenever you're when you're doing problems like these. I think that it will really help you to eliminate wrong answer choices. All right, going back to a simpler problem like the ones that we did in the beginning, we have 5 times 2, 6. All right, so again, what do we need to do with the 5? I hope you said put it over 1. We're turning that whole number into a fraction so that we can multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. All right, so numerators, 5 times 2, give us 10. And denominator, 1 times 6, gives us 6. So this is an improper fraction, just like our other ones have been. But on the other ones, our answer we were coming up with, we were trying to find a missing factor. Now we're finding the product. So like I've taught you, and Miss Bowers has taught you all year, and your math div teacher as well, we need to make sure that if it doesn't say to leave the answer as an improper fraction, that we make it a mixed number. So remember, an improper fraction is whenever our numerator is larger than our denominator, like we see here. So that means there are some holes in here. We have a whole number. If we have 10 pieces out of 6, we have enough there to make a whole. So we want to trade that in. We want to fix our improper fraction and make it a mixed number. So I'm going to think, how many 6 make up a whole? 6 make up a whole. So that's 1 whole in that number. So I just subtract that. 6 from 10 is 4 6. So I just rewrote my number. I have 1 whole, or 6 6, plus 4 6 still equals 10 6. But then I see that that is equivalent to 1 whole and 4 6. Okay. Another way that we've practiced doing that this year is skip counting by 6s. So if we go 6, 12, 12 is too high. So we know that there's 1 whole in our number. And then we subtract 6 from 10, just like we did, and we would get 4 6. Okay, so 1 and 4 6 is our answer. Now, some of you out there are probably saying, oh no, Miss Bryant, 4 6 can be simplified. Okay, so we need to think of a number that 4 and 6 have in common, and they're both even, so 2 is an obvious number they both have in common. We can divide it by 2 halves. So we have 1 whole. 2 divided into 4 is 2. 2 divided into 6 is 3. So it's also equivalent to 1 and 2/3. So any of these answers would be acceptable on a problem like this. 10 6, 1 and 4 6. But my favorite answer, that if you could give it to me, would be 1 and 2/3. This is what they're going to look for in 5th grade. On a problem like this, if you leave it as 1 and 4 6, you're probably going to get it wrong. If you leave it as 10 6, probably going to get it wrong. So throughout the practice today, if you can practice simplifying it, that will help you out in 5th grade. All right, number 6, rewrite the repeated addition problem as the multiplication problem. Cover up my answer choices. And then I'm going to look. Remember, a multiplication is just repeated addition, which is what we have here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 6, 5 times. So go ahead and write down what you think the answer is, and then I'll share what I think the answer is. Okay, I hope you said 5 times 5, 6. And maybe you even said 5 over 1 times 5, 6. All right, so let's see. Either one of those would work. So this says mark only one oval, so there's only one answer choice. Here we have 5, 6 times 5. Well, that looks just like ours. They just switched it, so I'm going to go ahead and circle it. But remember, we need to check all the answer choices to make sure that we were correct. All right, this one says 5 times 6 fifths, so they accidentally switched their numerator and denominator, so that can't be it. Here we're adding, and here we're dividing. So we were right. All right, looking at number 7, it says rewrite the repeated addition problem as a multiplication problem. So same thing we did in the previous problem. We're going to see how many 3/10 we're adding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you write what you think, and I'll write what I think. All right, so the answer there would be 6 times 3/10. Now, it doesn't say to solve the problem. So if you solve it, it might count it wrong on the computer because the answer that I would be looking for is 6 times 3/10. But just for extra practice, let's go ahead and try to solve that and see what we get. If you'll pause the video and solve it, we'll see what we get. All right, so the 5th grade answer, well, it's a 4th grade answer too, but what you'll have to give in 5th grade would be 1 4/5. But if you got any of these other answers along the way, you're also correct. So 18 tenths, 1 8/10, or dividing it by 2 halves, 2 will go into 8 4 times, and 2 into 10 5 times. This one says, what is the value of the expression? So don't let it scare you because it's a big number like 16, because you guys can multiply 2-digit by 2-digit numbers. So all we're going to do here is we're going to put our 16 over 1 so that we can do, remember, we're doing numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. All right, so 16 times 3. Do not try to do that in your head. I really want you to practice multiplying that out the way that we have learned. So I come over here, I can decompose that into 10 plus 6 times 3. So 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 6 is, what is 3 times 6? 18. And then we're going to add our partial products together, and we'll get 48. Okay, so 48 is our numerator. So 48 fifths. Now we see we have an improper fraction. So we're going to skip count by 5s to see how many times 5 will go into 48, or how many groups of 5 there are in 48. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Oh, 50 is too high, so I know it's going to be 45. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 wholes. And then we take 48 and subtract 45 from it, and we get 3. So what's left is 3 fifths. So 9 3/5 would be our 5th grade answer there. Awesome job. You guys have done fantastic. Keep up the good work. I'm very proud of what I've seen. Miss Bowers is too. I've been talking to her regularly about how her class is doing and how my class is doing. You guys are awesome. We only have one more week after this week, and then, oh man, you all are 5th graders, and I can't believe it. I hope you guys are doing great. I love you all and miss you.